How does a small, scrappy settlement of outcasts, totally surrounded by enemies, go on to become the most dominant empire the world has ever seen? And, maybe more importantly, how does it all come crashing down? Today, we're digging into the incredible story of Rome, a story of grit, ambition, and a legacy that, believe it or not, still shapes our world.
You know, this quote, it really gets to the heart of it all. This was the Roman spirit in a nutshell. From the very beginning, this was never just about survival. It was about this stubborn, unshakable belief in their own destiny. This one idea that they were meant for something bigger was the seed from which everything else grew. And you could call it arrogance, sure, but it was also this incredible engine that drove them to build something that would last. All right, let's rewind way back to the beginning. Because Rome's origin story isn't one of gilded palaces and grandeur. Nope, it's all about grit.
Yeah, forget what you see in the movies. Picture this, a brand new city founded by its legendary king, Romulus, basically as a safe haven for the unwanted. It was a city of fugitives, exiles, and anyone else who needed a second chance. And that made Rome tough and pragmatic from day one, especially since they were surrounded by rivals who looked at them and didn't see a future empire. They saw a problem that needed to be erased.
But see, Rome wasn't content to just survive. They evolved. They kicked out their kings and tried something really radical and daring for the time, a republic.
Now, this is where things get really interesting. You've got this incredible tension, right? On one side, you have the beautiful ideal of the republic. Senators debating laws, a system built so no single person could ever become a king. But the reality? Oh, the reality was a pressure cooker of pure ambition. You had these powerful generals, guys like Marius and Sulla, with armies that were loyal to them, not to Rome. And they saw the republic less as something to serve and more as a prize to be won. The ideal was noble for sure, but human ambition, it was proving to be a whole lot stronger. And you just knew that pressure cooker of ambition was going to blow. The republic had survived civil wars before, yeah, but it was about to meet a man whose ambition would shatter the whole system. And that brings us right here to one of the most dramatic moments in all of history. We have Julius Caesar, fresh off his incredible conquest of Gaul. He's standing with his battle-hardened army at the edge of a small river called the Rubicon. And the Senate in Rome has given him a direct order. Leave your army, come home alone. To cross that river with his soldiers would be treason, a flat-out declaration of war against his own country.
And that's why we still say it today, right? Crossing the Rubicon. It means you've passed the point of no return. For Caesar, this was it. He could obey the Senate and almost certainly face ruin, or he could roll the dice and grab for ultimate power. The fate of the Republic literally rested on this one choice.
So what did he do? He crossed. He marched on Rome, he took control, and for a short, brilliant time, it seemed like he'd finally brought order to all the chaos. But many Romans didn't see a savior. They saw a tyrant. And on the Ides of March, they assassinated him. The conspirators thought they were heroes saving the Republic, but really, they just signed its death warrant. See, Caesar's death didn't fix anything. In fact, it plunged Rome into an even more brutal civil war. But out of all that chaos, one man came out on top. Caesar's young, incredibly clever adopted son, Octavian. After he finally defeated his last rivals, Mark Antony and Cleopatra, he was the only one left standing. He took the name Augustus, and just like that, 500 years of the Roman Republic were over. The Roman Empire was born. Okay, so the Republic is dead. Long live the Empire. And what comes next is this incredible era of power and peace. But, you know how these stories go, nothing lasts forever. Under Augustus and the emperors that followed, Rome enters its golden age. We're talking 200 years of what they called the Pax Romana, the Roman peace. For the first time in generations, a massive chunk of the world, from Britain all the way to the Middle East, had relative stability. I mean, just imagine, trade could boom, cities could grow, all without the constant fear of another civil war. And look at the sheer scale of it. This wasn't just an absence of war. It was an explosion of culture and power. Legions were pushing the empire's borders farther than ever. Amazing feats of engineering, aqueducts, roads, were connecting everything. Art and trade were just flourishing. For a while there, it must have really felt like Rome was the center of the universe, the eternal city. But the cracks start to appear.
And it wasn't just one thing, you know? It was this slow, creeping decay from the inside out. You had a string of corrupt emperors, rival generals tearing the empire apart again, fighting for the throne. And all the while, these so-called barbarian tribes on the borders were getting stronger and stronger. And then, in 410 CE, the unthinkable happens. The city itself, the Eternal City, is sacked. The magic was gone. Rome was vulnerable.
So yeah, the Western Roman Empire eventually fizzles out completely. But here's the thing, and this is so important. The empire might have died, but the idea of Rome, that never went away. So why are we even talking about this, right? Why does any of this ancient history matter? Because you and I are still living in a world shaped by Rome. Their language, Latin, is the bedrock of Spanish, French, Italian, and a huge chunk of English. Our modern legal systems, built on Roman principles. And the stories, my gosh, the stories of Caesar, Augustus, Cleopatra, they're more than just history lessons. They're the ultimate human dramas of power and betrayal that we just keep telling over and over again.
So that's where it leaves us. Rome, the political power, is ancient history, but its blueprint, its ideas, its engineering, its warnings, they are everywhere. It's this incredible lesson, isn't it? That even the mightiest powers can crumble, but what really lasts are the echoes they leave behind. And it kind of makes you think, centuries from now, what will our echo be?